Hello everyone, I am Chiranjit Das, an ad hoc faculty member of CMD PG College Department of Physics. Today I am going to discuss about the computational algebra of operators. This is in the paper Quantum Mechanics of MSc second semester. Before going to our main topic, we have to recall about the operators and Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So what is an operator? Now an operator is nothing but a mathematical tool which converts a given function into another. The addition symbol plus the subtraction symbol minus the multiplication symbol or the division symbol, all we use in order to solve different mathematical problems. These symbols are nothing but operators. Now we are taking an example to understand this in a much better way. Let's take a given function x square. Now you are asked to differentiate this x square with respect to the differentiation operators ddx and dy. In both the cases, you get the result as 2x and 0. That means we have the given function of same value, but the operators are different. And for this why we are getting two different results, that is 2x and 0. So why do we get these two results different? This is simple because in the first case, the operator and the given function, these two are of the same variable, that is x. So our operator is able to differentiate this x square and we get the result as 2x. While in the second case, the operator is of the variable y while the given function is of the variable x. And for this y, our operator is unable to operate this function and thus resulting in 0. So what we can see here, now the operators are transforming or converting the given function x square into another function. In the first case this is 2x and in the second case this is 0. Let's take another example. Here we are again taking an example of vectors. The bold letters corresponds to the vector quantities. Here we have two vectors A and B. In the first case, you can see that this is a dot product where A dot B equals AB cos theta, and in the second case, you have A cross B equals AB sin theta n cap. So in both these two cases, we get two different types of results. In the first case, you get the scalar result, while in the second case, you get the result in a vector form. So why do we get different results? This is very simple because of the operators involved here. What are the operators? In the first case, this is dot, the dot is the operator here, and in the second case, the cross is the operator here. Dot involves no rotation of the given vectors, while the cross involves rotation of the given vectors. And for this y, in the first case we get the scalar result, while in the second case we get the vector result. So coming back to our main discussion, that is the commutators and commutativity. Consider two operators. It is given by, here we have considered the operators a cap and b cap. The cap symbol is used to represent it as an operator. The quantity AB minus BA is called the commutator of the operators A and B. So let us consider an example at first to understand this quantity. What does the quantity do actually? Now here I have considered an example of ddx of ax minus x ddx. This is operating on fx and producing the result fx. Now you can see that ddx ax minus x ddx, this is in the form ab minus ba. So this is nothing but an operator as well as a commutator. Also you can see that this operator or commutator, while operating on our given function fx, produces the result fx. That means the result and the given function, both of these two are same thing. So this commutator or this operator has the value of unity, that is 1, as you can see. So you can see that this function, that means A operator and B operator have the commutator value AB minus BA. So the operators in the commutator form is written in the third bracket, as you can see here, the A operator, and here comes a comma, and then we place the second operator, that is B operator here, and both of these two things are placed in a third bracket, and this is equal to AB minus BA. So whenever we calculate these two operators value, then as we will discuss or will have the mathematical problems later, as you will see that you have different types of operators here, and you have to calculate the mathematical value. So you will get two types of results. Either that will be a zero value result, or that will be a non-zero value result. So whenever we get a result having the value 0, that means the operators here, that is A vector, A operator and B operator, are said to commute or simply commutative. That means we will call the operators A operator and B operator to be commutative. That means A operator and B operator are commutative to each other, not for the any kind of third operator. Okay, so the operators, while the commutator value have 0 value, we will call them as commutative to each other, or simply say to commute. But whenever we get non-zero value, we can say that the operators are non-commutative operators. Simply, as you can see in the last example, we have ddx x minus x ddx. This is obviously, as I have already said about, that this is in the form A operator, B operator minus B operator, A operator, and you are getting the result 1. So we can say that these two operators, that means the differentiation operator ddx and the position operator, that is x, are non-commutative. Now all of you may be thinking about why I have already taken two examples in our first case, that is just at the very start, about the vectors and differentiation operators. Now you will see that why I have taken the example of vectors. Now when non-commutative operators are involved, the order of writing becomes very important. Why this is? Very simply, as you have already seen that whenever we do dot product, we can have the value same. That means whenever you are writing a dot b, you will get the result ab cos theta, and if you write b dot a, you will also get the same result without any kind of distortion or any kind of error, since it does not involve any rotation, and also that will produce you a scalar quantity. But in the case of our vector multiplication, that means whenever we do cross product, you cannot write a cross b equals b cross a, because here the direction of rotation is involved. A cross b means you are taking vector quantity from a direction to b direction in the form of right-handed screw system. But whenever you are writing b cross a, you will get the result in just opposite way. That means you are moving the b vector towards a direction, or the a vector direction, with respect to the same the right-handed screw system. So you will get two exactly opposite results, and that's why we cannot write a cross b equals b cross a. And here comes another symbol minus, so you will write a cross b equals minus of b cross a. Here also, when non-commutative operations are involved, non-commutative operations, that means whenever we have the a comma b equals a non-zero quantity, the order of writing becomes very important. That means you cannot write a comma b equals b comma a, but if they commute, you can write a comma b equals b comma a. We will see that this property will be hold good in whenever we discuss about the different algebraic operations. Now, I have already said at the very start that we have to recall all again another quantity, that is Heisenberg uncertainty principle. How does it relate in the commutativity of operators? Now, what is being said in Heisenberg uncertainty principle, that any kind of canonically conjugate variables that have dimension of xn, we cannot measure them precisely and simultaneously. If we try to measure them, there will be an error, and that error is being given by h cross, that is the Planck constant multiplied by 1 upon 2 pi. So the commutativity of operators expresses the possibility of measuring the corresponding physical quantity simultaneously. That means whenever we have the given operators are commutating to each other or simply commute each other, that means we can measure the operators simultaneously. We can measure the operators simultaneously. But whenever non-commutativity, that means for this example, here we have the value equal to 1, that means it is non-commutative. So whenever we have non-commutativity nature, that means we cannot measure them simultaneously, and that will signify or correspond to our Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So coming to our commutator algebra, as you can see in the screen that here 6 mathematical results are being written, which are a comma b equals minus of b comma a comma b plus c equals a comma b plus a comma c, a plus b comma c equals a comma c plus of b comma c, and so on. We will prove these mathematical operations later. Before that, we are going to discuss about actually what does the commutation mean physically. That is very important for our semester studies. Now let's study. When we perform a quantum mechanical measurement, we always measure an eigenvalue of our given operator. And after the measurement, the state is left in the corresponding eigenstate. The eigenstates to the operator are precisely those states for which there is no uncertainty in the measurement. We always measure the eigenvalue with probability 1. So what is being said here? Now let's take the example. As we already have the matrix, we already know how to solve the mathematical equations in matrix algebra. We write ax equals lambda x, where a is the given operator, x is our given function, lambda is the eigenvalue, and x is the same operator. Now this is all already been said here. When we perform a quantum mechanical measurement, we always measure an eigenvalue of our operator. That means whenever we are writing ax equals lambda x, that means here we have write that is h operating on n equals en of n. You can say that h is the given operator, that is the Hamiltonian operator, and en is the energy eigenvalue of the same operator, where the given function, that is the ket n or the state n, is remaining the same. That means after the measurement, the state is left in the corresponding eigenstate. The state at first was in the state n, and after the measurement, the state is remaining already in that state. So we always measure the eigenvalue with probability 1. Now here comes the word probability 1. That means we are measuring the quantity with respect to this operator, and we are expecting an energy eigenvalue. So if there is no uncertainty, that means if we can measure the entire quantity for this given operator, we have the expected eigenvalue. That means we have the result to get in the given region of space having the probability 1. That means we expect our result in the entire space to be given with the maximum probability, and that maximum probability is 1. Okay. Now, what if we want to measure two different observables? Here comes the problem. If we have two different observables, the first one is A and the second one is B, I have taken this. So what will happen then? Now start. If we measure first A, okay, we are measuring the first observable, that is A. We know that the system is left in an eigenstate of A. How? Now, as in this example, you can see H, this is Hamiltonian operator operating on nth state, produces the result in the energy eigenvalue En, and the same energy eigenstate, that is N. Here also, if you measure at first A, then the system is left in an eigenstate of A. That means, suppose if the operator is A here, put A in place of H, what you get? A n equals some eigenvalue and also the same nth state. So this is already is written here. We know that the system is left in an eigenstate of A. Now this might alter the measurement of outcome of B. So this measurement may alter the result. So if you are leaving the nth state after the completion of the operation of the operator given by A operator, so that will be there will be some maybe problem in the measurement of the operator B. That means the order of our measurement is very important, whether we want to measure the A operator first or the operator B first. But for the commutating variables, there is no problem with the measurement, whether you measure with A operator or whether you measure with the B operator at first. Now let's take this. If A and B commute, then you can come up with a set of basis states. Here I have taken a state A and Bn in the Kate notation. We will discuss in our next chapter when we will discuss the bracket notations of Dirac. There we will have a lot of discussion about this. So the basis states these that are the eigenstates of both A and B. Then any state can be written in the linear combination of the form psi equals some alpha n into this is operating on an on and bn in the Kate notation. So our aim is to look whether for the commutating operators, that is B operator and A operator, if whether the measurement is going wrong or whether the measurement is right. Now if you measure A first, what we will get? Now you will get a result An with the probability alpha n square, as we have already discussed how does the probability comes from the wave functions. So you can easily say that the probability come with alpha n square. Now what if we measure B first? Here comes the problem. If we measure B first, then we will get Bn with the probability alpha n square. Whenever you are applying or A operator first, your state is remaining in the An state. But whenever you are applying B first, your state will be left in a state of Bn. But the probability will remain the same. And the system is left in the corresponding eigenstate, that is A and Bn. Because this is a conjugate state where A and B states are here, as you can see An and Bn has A eigenvalues and B eigenvalues, is a combined state. So after the measurement of B first, your state is left in this same state but having the probability alpha n square. Now after the measurement of B, measure the A. If we measure now A cap, we will always get the result AN, and the overall probability of getting the result AN is again alpha n square. So alpha n square remains the same. That means the probability remains the same. So it did not matter that we measure B before A. That means it did not change the outcome measurement of A. So as you can see that in in the case where whether we measure A first or B first, our probability of getting the result remains the same. That means whenever we have the operators commutating, we don't need to look whether the operators are written in the same form or in the just opposite form. That means whether we are writing A comma B or we are writing B comma A, this is same. So a commutator in quantum mechanics tells us if we can measure two observables at the same time. Here comes our uncertainty principle. That means in the uncertainty principle, we cannot measure precisely and simultaneously both the members of physically canonically conjugate variable. And if we try to measure this, there will be some discontinuity or uncertainty given by the H cross. So if we can measure two observables at the same time, so if you can measure the two observables at the same times, that means they are commutating to each other. If the commutator of two observables is 0, they can be measured at the same time. Otherwise, there exists an uncertainty relation between the two. For example, Heisenberg uncertainty principle is a direct consequence of the fact that the position and momentum do not commute, and therefore we cannot precisely determine the position and momentum at the same time. This is what we can see in the Heisenberg uncertainty principle in position momentum aspect, or in energy or time aspect, or in angular momentum and angle aspect. In all the three examples, we cannot measure precisely and simultaneously. That means we cannot measure at the very same time uh, position and momentum together, or energy and time together, or angular momentum and angle together. You have to calculate any one of these two first and then the second. But if we try to measure this, there will be some discrepancy in our result. So as you can see in our discussion, that the commutation relationship is nothing but a consequences result of uncertainty principle and some mathematical operations produced by the operators. That means whenever our operators are commutating to each other, there is no uncertainty. That means our canonically conjugate variables are not there. But if we are presenting our non-commutative operators, that means there exists some uncertainty. Therefore, for that example, we can take position and momentum and energy and time and so on. So coming back to our commutation algebra, as you have already seen that we have 6 types of different mathematical equations I have already written. These are the basic fundamental rules for commutation of different operators. Okay. Now you can see the first one, that is a comma b equals ab minus ba, that is the commutator. So this is equal to nothing but take minus common outside, and you can write ba minus of ab, and you will get minus of b comma a. Similarly, the second case a comma b plus c, this will operate. That means this a cap is an operator and b plus c together is an operator. So this is in the form ab minus ba. You can write a multiplied by b plus c minus of b plus c multiplied by a operator, and then you just multiply them, a cap b cap plus a cap c cap minus of these quantities, and taking the common quantity, you can say this is a cap comma b cap plus of a cap comma c cap. These mathematical calculations are very easy. As you can see, the number 3 is a plus b comma c. This is just opposite of the relation number 2. Okay, so here comes a plus b, this is together an operator. C is a single operator, so you can write a plus b multiplied by c minus of c multiplied by a plus b, expand them and then take common things and you will get these results. Okay. Number 4 relation is a comma bc. So at first expand the bracket. This bracket, as you all know from classical mechanics, this is nothing but the Poisson's bracket. So ABC minus BCA. Okay. So now take an example. Let's take the addition of BAC and subtraction of BAC. This means add and subtract BAC here. Arrange them in order. I have symbolized here that you have to take these two things common. ABC minus of BAC. So ABC minus BAC and the rest of the things BCA minus BAC. These two are different things. Okay. So ABC minus BAC, as you can see that the C operator is at the very last position in these two cases. So take common this operator. So C cap is taken common here. So you can get AB minus BA. And in the remaining two things, you can see that the B operator is at the very start in both the terms. You can take common B cap and then you can get your desired result as ABC plus B operating on A comma C. Similarly, you can do this proof also A B comma C. Okay, so these mathematical tools are very important whenever you will go through some mathematical operations or commutation relations where you have to prove different types of mathematical relations and you have to apply these mathematical tools. Okay, so we will discuss our next topic, that is the commutation relations of different mathematical or physical quantities, as we have discussed in our Heisenberg uncertainty principle or the angular momentum aspect, where you will calculate different mathematical quantities. Thank you.